Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist James Longwith with Dynamic Weather Agency LLC, and today we're going to talk about this next upcoming major winter storm. This storm system is going to bring the potential for snow, sleet, and freezing rain that will bring impacts to parts of the Central Plains, Midwest, eventually making its way to parts of the northern Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast by early next week. We're also expecting to see some heavy snowfall for parts of the Great Basin and the central and southern Rockies, and for parts of California, where we'll see some of those mountain snow conditions continue in parts of those higher elevations. And then we're also going to be expecting some heavy rain across the south with this next upcoming system, and the possibility for some severe weather, so stay tuned for that. But first, before we get into today's video, I do want to encourage you guys to hit that like button down below and subscribe to this channel and share this video with your friends and family so we can help let this channel grow. Again, I'd like to thank everyone who has subscribed to our channel over the past couple of weeks, as we're nearing 1,000 subscribers, so thank you guys who have done that. Also, be sure to check us out on social media. You can send us your weather-related photos and videos that we'd love to share in our future and upcoming videos. You can find those links down below in the description, and also be sure to check us out online at dynamicweatheragency.com for more weather-related information. Now, last but not least, be sure to check out our Patreon page to help support this channel so I can continue to make weather-related content like this, or storm chasing videos like you see down below, and fund some weather research that we have going on here at Dynamic Weather Agency LLC. There's many exclusive content, perks, and early access to our Patreon subscribers, so be sure to check that out on over there. Again, that link is down below in the description. I also want to thank you guys for being very patient with me, as I've not been able to post videos over the past couple of days due to some life things coming up, and my primary job is serving active duty in the United States Air Force, doing weather for them. So thank you guys for being patient, as I've not been able to post much content lately, just due to some uptick I've been having with some life things and the work. So getting into today's video now, as we take a look at our current national radar, for the most part, conditions are quite quiet this morning. We do have some snow occurring in parts of Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, South Dakota, Nebraska this morning, with some of that snow beginning to move its way into Iowa. We do have some rain showers moving across parts of the Gulf Coast area, staying just off the coast of Mississippi and Alabama, but moving into parts of northern Florida this morning. But as we take a look at New York, I do want to show you guys something kind of cool that's going on with the Finger Lakes up there. We do have some of these nice northerly winds or northwesterly winds moving across parts of New York, and you can see some of this lake effect snow banding that's beginning to develop across parts of the Finger Lakes this morning, which is pretty cool. So taking a look at our water vapor satellite imagery, again looking at the moisture content within our atmosphere, we do have this nice upper level ridge that's developed over the Pacific with this nice deep upper level trough. As you can see, this nice dry slot moving in, this deep upper level trough bringing this nice push of cold air that's going to support some of that snowfall with this next low pressure system that we're going to see track on through. We do have our subtropical jet moving through parts of New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and even to parts of the southeast today. That's bringing some warmer conditions across this area, but with those warmer conditions, we're also seeing return moisture flow and some instability build up back into the region, where we can see some severe weather across parts of Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas tomorrow. With that return moisture flow ahead of the warm front, we can expect to see some very heavy snowfall totals with this low pressure system as it interacts with some of that cold air as the system moves across parts of the Central Plains and up into the Midwest region. So now as we take a look at our national forecast, taking a look over the next 72 hours, as we move west of the Rockies, a lot of mountain snow conditions, as we expect to see some heavy snowfall in some of those higher elevations with the system as it begins to move on through with that deep upper level trough. You will see some snowfall and some snow accumulation probably across parts of Nevada and even into parts of Arizona, Utah, Wyoming, and even some parts of Colorado with this next system as some of that cold air begins to move on in. As we move east of the Rockies, looking at the south Tennessee Valley region, you can see we have that area of heavy rain for parts of Tennessee, Kentucky, southern Indiana, Illinois, parts of northern Arkansas and southern Missouri. Heavy rain conditions are expected in that area. We're also expecting severe storms for parts of Oklahoma, Texas, and Arkansas. As we mentioned, some of that moisture is going to return back into that area. We're going to start seeing some instability build. It's going to allow for some severe weather in those areas. Now, as we move further to the north, you can see we have those heavy snow conditions stretching all the way from, Kansas all the way up into parts of Michigan, even into parts of the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. Now, we're expecting that heaviest snowfall to occur across parts of northern Kansas, southeastern Nebraska, Iowa, northern Illinois, and southern Wisconsin. We also have an area of freezing rain conditions that can occur across parts of Missouri, Illinois, even into parts of Indiana and western Ohio, with some freezing rain conditions also possible in parts of the Appalachian Mountain region. So taking a look at our current National Weather Service watches, warnings, and advisories, our winter weather ones, we do have some winter storm watches across parts of Southern California, some winter storm warnings in effect for parts of western Arizona and parts of southern Wyoming this morning. We do have a big area of winter weather advisories. We have some in parts of the Midwest, even into parts of the Central Plains, and parts of the areas west of the Rockies, and some of those higher elevation areas in parts of the Rocky Mountains, and even into parts of the Cascades and the Sierra Mountain region this morning. We do have some of those winter weather advisories with the Finger Lakes this morning, with some of that lake effect snow we saw on radar. So taking a look at our winter storm severity index, looking at our day one, this is for today. As we take a look at parts of the Midwest region today, you can see we have some of those minor and moderate impacts for parts of Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, even South Dakota today, with a little bit of a disturbance that's going to be moving on through that region. Further to the west, in parts of the west of the Rockies, we are seeing some of those moderate and minor impacts in some of those higher elevation areas today, where we can see some of that snowfall occur over there. As we move into tomorrow, that disturbance that's moving through the Midwest, still going to see some of that snowfall and minor impacts impacting parts of Wisconsin. But as we move further to the west, again to parts of the Northeast, as we take a look at the Cascades, we're seeing those minor impacts over there as the system moves on through. And then as we look at Arizona, where that low pressure system is going to begin to develop, it's going to start tracking its way across the Central Plains, bringing some of that very heavy snowfall. Again, some of those higher elevations, we're seeing some of those minor and moderate impacts. And then as we move into day three, taking a look at Monday, again, we're seeing those impacts further to the west in parts of Arizona and even parts of Nevada, those moderate to even some major impacts down in that region. Some of the heavy snowfall is going to occur, some of those high elevation areas. But as we move into the Central Plains and parts of the Midwest and Mississippi and upper Mississippi Valley region, into Kansas, Nebraska, Missouri, and Iowa, you can see those moderate and even major impacts in that area. So now you're probably wondering, what do those impacts actually mean? And you could pause the video right here to take a look at that. But as we were mentioning, on our day three winter storm severity index, those moderate and to even some of those major impacts affecting parts of the, Midwest and Central Plains region. And as we take a look at some of those, moderate impacts, those roughly equate to those NWS warning level criteria. While we don't have warnings issued yet, we can expect to see some warnings issued later on. And these impacts are going to impact people even with little preparation for this major winter storm that's going to move on through. And this could perhaps lead to a day or two of recovery time due to the heavy snow accumulations for some of that snowfall to subside and for plows to be able to plow the roads and get the proper treatments down. And then those major impacts, we did have some isolated areas with major impacts, and those are going to impact people with any preparation and stuff like that. And this could be still some of those day or two recovery times, but it says typically several days of recovery due to some of the heavy snowfall to subside. But again, in those regions, with some of those very isolated intense snow bands that can occur with some of that, with that vortex moving through the frontogenesis of the 700 to 850 millibar band through that region, and some of the moisture moving ahead of that warm front could lead to some very intense heavy snowfall across this region. That could make it very difficult for road crews to keep up with the road treatments across that area. So be prepared for that. That could lead to some major travel disruptions Monday. So as we take a look at our futurecast radar, we do have some of those snow conditions occurring in parts of the higher elevations further to the west. But as we move throughout today, we're going to see this disturbance move its way into parts of the upper Midwest as we move in through the afternoon into the evening hours. As we move into the morning commute tomorrow, we can see we have some of that snow conditions occurring across parts of Illinois, eastern Iowa, Wisconsin, and western Michigan, with some freezing rain conditions further to the south in southern Illinois, moving its way into Indiana and even to parts of Kentucky. This will affect any morning commutes or anywhere that you're going on Sunday. Now, as we continue through Sunday into Monday, as we move into Monday, you can see our next low pressure system is beginning to develop over Texas, and this is going to be our major winter storm that we're going to see that's going to be bringing some of the snowfall and ice to parts of the Central Plains, Midwest, even into parts of the Ohio Valley, and then making its way up into the Mid-Atlantic, into the Northeast, with some lingering snow conditions further on back. And you can see that low pressure system off the West Coast bringing, some snowfall to the Cascades and rain to the West Coast. Now, taking a look at some of our models, not only is snowfall going to be a major factor with this major winter storm, but we're also going to be expecting some ice accumulations of a few hundredths of an inch to even a tenth of an inch in some areas. You can see some of the heaviest icing accumulations occurring basically across parts of Illinois, Indiana, and even to parts of the Appalachian Mountain regions, parts of southern Pennsylvania, and parts of West Virginia and Virginia. Some of the heaviest ice accumulations could be with this. Again, we're not expecting much of ice accumulations, a few hundredths of an inch to even maybe a tenth of an inch, but most ice accumulation is going to be within 3 to 6 hundredths of an inch. Now, as we take a look at our snowfall forecast, this is the European run for snowfall for the next 72 hours. So some of the snowfall you're going to see across parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin, that's going to be from the storm system we're expecting to see move on through today. And then if you look further to the south, that's going to move that next low pressure system moving on through, where you can see that nice big swath. The European model is expecting this nice swath of 8 to even 10 to 12 inches of snowfall occurring across parts of Kansas into parts of Illinois. With this system, you can see further to the west some of that snowfall occurring in parts of the Cascades and even parts of the Rocky Mountains region, the Sierras. You can see where some of that snowfall might occur across parts of Nevada and even to parts of Wyoming and Utah over the next 72 hours. GFS model actually very similar to the European model. The only difference we're seeing with the European and the GFS is we're expected to maybe see some higher snowfall accumulations in parts of the Appalachian Mountain region. As you can see, parts of West Virginia, you can see some of that higher snowfall total there on the GFS model compared to the European model. And again, the UK Met, we're seeing very consistent, nice model consistency between the European, the GFS, and the UK Met. Again, looking quite similar to each other. UK Met is, with that West Virginia area with some of that snowfall in the Appalachian Mountains, similar to the European model. Again, other than that, consistency between the GFS, the UK Met, and the European model is overall pretty good right now with these, with the models right now, which is giving very high forecast confidence. As we even take a look at the National Weather Service blend of models, again, seeing similar conditions, with this, and all the models, the consistency is just, phenomenal right now. Again, expecting some of these, nice high snowfall totals that could occur stretching all the way from Kansas even to parts of Illinois. As we take a look at the National Weather Service's forecast, again, we're still seeing consistency between the models, the National Weather Service blend of models, and their actual forecasts. Could see this nice area of 8 to 10 inches of snow, maybe some isolated higher amounts. Again, we're going to have this nice area of moisture moving on into the region that could bring enhanced snowfall with some enhanced ascent due to some of that frontogenesis and that 500 millibar Vort max moving on through this region. So again, we're seeing consistency with this. And even as we take a look at our, ensemble, the ESP European, probability for snowfall over 6 inches, we're seeing high probability within that region depicted by the National Weather Service, the European model, the GFS model, the UK Met, and even the National Weather Service blended models within this region. So if you're in this region right here, Kansas, southeast Nebraska, even parts of southern Iowa, northern Missouri, and even to parts of Illinois, the probability to see greater than 6 inches of snowfall looks pretty good. Now, as we take a look at our forecast model, our in-house forecast model, again, we're seeing very similar conditions with the UK Met, the European and the GFS, even the National Weather Service blended models, and the National Weather Service forecast. Seeing those heavy snowfall totals in the Cascades, the Sierras, some high snowfall occurring across parts of the, higher plain, the higher elevations in Arizona. But as we take a look, with our major winter storm system moving through the Midwest, we had that nice area of 5 to 8 inches of snow in the light purple, stretching from parts of Kansas, parts of Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, southern Wisconsin, isolated area of 5 to 8 inches of snow, Minnesota, northern Iowa. And then we have these isolated areas where you can see 8 to 12 inches of snow with these darker purples in parts of Iowa and even to parts of Nebraska, with this system, which, this could even be connected right in this area, stretching across that region, with these isolated areas of higher snowfall totals. So taking a look at our 72-hour hand-drawn snowfall map from southeast Nebraska to southwestern Iowa and to central and eastern Iowa, we have an area of 8 to 12 inches of snowfall. We're also expecting to see some isolated areas up to about 15 inches of snowfall. Again, we're going to see some moisture begin to move in with the system. We're also going to see this nice Vorp max move on through, some nice frontogenesis that's going to allow for some great ascent, for some enhanced ascent, across the region that's going to increase some of these snowfall totals across this area. Again, we have a nice area, 5 to 8, stretching from Kansas all the way up into parts of northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, a little bit of lake effect around Lake Michigan. We do have some 5 to 8 in Minnesota, northern Iowa, and then again, we have that nice big area, 3 to 5 with this major winter storm. Again, with this winter storm, we're going to see some accumulating snowfall and some very heavy major accumulating snowfall. And with some of those very strong bands of snow and some of that heavy snowfall, expect some travel disruptions with this event. And again, if you live in this below this 3 to 5 line, stretching across Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio, expect some freezing rain accumulation across that area. Again, freezing rain accumulations are not expected to be, a tenth of an inch. We're expecting freezing rain accumulations of a few hundredths of an inch across this region, 300ths to 600ths of an inch freezing rain accumulation with the snowfall also in this region. Expect some slippery road conditions with that too. Now, something we haven't been able to talk about for a while, we do have the threat for severe weather. We're expecting tomorrow this nice threat for severe weather to occur across parts of Texas, even to parts of Arkansas and parts of Oklahoma. Taking a look at our day 2 severe weather outlook, we do have that slight risk for severe storms. As we take a closer look, that slight risk includes places like Denton, Dallas, Greenville, and Paris, Texas, with that marginal risk surrounding those regions. This slight risk is actually for the possibility for some large hail within this region, but also can't rule out some marginal to severe wind gusts with some of those stronger storms if some of these storms become surface space, as most of these storms are expected to be elevated, which is why we're seeing this threat for some large hail within this region. Again, I would like to thank you guys for checking out today's video, and be sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to check us out on social media and our website, dynamicweatheragency.com. Again, those links are down below in the description. I am meteorologist James Longwith with Dynamic Weather Agency LLC, signing off for today. You guys have a great day, and be sure to stay tuned for our video for tomorrow.